in sun, rain, and snow. The city of Heathrow is beautiful and unending, seemingly. There is life, there is people, there are cars, there are everything you could ever want in the city. But there are a few things that are off. First of all, the normal citizens seem almost immune to damage, never taking any complaint. Secondly, the harbour, which remains desolate of any activity. There are no boats coming in and out, with only a few on the water that never come into shore. There is no place for any sort of fishermen to land and bringing their cargo. There is no place for any cargo ships bringing deliveries from far off to any place that could be docked and given off. Though there is this one dock, but it does not fit, as this bridge over here is far too low for any bigger cargo ship that could fit in that port to ever get in here. It is a confusing build, but I do not think it is accidental. I examined the other part of the city that we currently cannot access in this version of the game, but even then, with my examinations, I could find nothing that could lead towards any sort of industry having any sort of route within the city. No ports, no factories, nothing. It is strange. And then, but it is not as if there is not any deliveries. There are deliveries happening within the city. From point to point in the city, there are deliveries that you can do. Food, jewelry, broken furniture, all of them. But there is no bricks. There is no cement. The only builders you ever see are back at that fucking... at the bridge. Those are the only builders you ever find. There is nothing to indicate any industry. There is no warehouses to store them. There is no place to build things. There is no... nothing. It is a strange thing. Now, it could just be game design, but I think something far sinister is happening. As I looked over the city, thinking upon the theory that I was building in my head, I noticed something. The Bureau of Anomaly Control. Why is it so far out? So far away from the normal city? I had to find answers. It could not be a coincidence. As you can see on the map, it is very clearly placed deliberately miles away from the city, away from everyone else, almost cut off from the city. It is a strange choice to build it, especially on such an island so small as you can see here. They've been forced to build upwards, and there seems to be no port on this island either. It is strange building. Why build on this island? Why not build in the city? Why build this offshoot onto this tiny random island just for your headquarters, where you could very easily just build it in the city? As I entered the parking lots, I noticed something else strange. The cars, they are all from outside the city. Not a single time do you see any of these cars ever enter the city. This is also the car that we were delivered here in. Another strange thing to add on to our my mounting theory. I entered the lobby and saw the Great Ball, as I call it. This is a ball that calculates and shows every anomaly disturbance within the city. But to my mind, there is too few. With how many anomaly disturbances there are in the city at a time, ignore that, this ball could not possibly show every single one, or even a fraction of them. So what is its purpose? I think we're being deceived. That is what I thought. And as I went to make my exit, I noticed something. This anomaly, standing in the corner with its own black ball, her name is Eclipse, and she states that she has a contract with the Bureau, but is also observing humans. Now you might just say that Ill is just an entity, an eclipse, an anomaly trying to understand normal humans. I say there is something deeper in here. But I left, and as I began to leave, I thought of the bridge again, this long, lonely, empty bridge. No tourists come into the city. I wonder what is blocking them off. So I began the journey to the very end of this bridge. And as I said a moment ago, there are no tourists. There are no cars that ever drive on this bridge. No one enters or leaves this city. And it just does not make sense to me. But then, as I drove down this long, windy road, finally I hit something. And everything began to make sense. This is a barrier that suspiciously says no access. That is what began my theory when I saw the no access sign. It is the Bureau. The Bureau is the reason why nobody enters this city. The Bureau controls this city. It stops anyone from entering or leaving and makes sure the city thrives just on its own. Now you may be thinking, why in the ever-living hell would the Bureau do this? They're there to control anomalies, not to do anything else. It is with that I say to you, what if the city is an anomaly? Think about it. No food comes in. No one ever comes in. Nobody leaves. No infrastructure is ever built here. Yet buildings are made and things are being able to be built. Things happen in the city strange. The cars disappear. The buildings are built in horrendous placements with balconies going against balconies. The roads are twisting and winding. This city does not make sense. It does not make sense in industry standard. It should not be able to keep itself fed. It does not make itself make sense in any sort of way. There is one school for this entire massive city. That does not make sense. There should be an overabundance of students in that school. Yet, if you go to the school, it is deserted. There is barely any students. It does not make sense. Now, people may cry against me and say my theory is false for the mere simple fact that it is game design. What I say to you is, have some fucking whimsy and think about it. This city, it does not make sense. It is a city that should have fallen aeons ago, yet still it stands. And another thing that is very briefly mentioned in some lore, but I cannot find it, is that Heathrow, as I mentioned earlier, is a tourist attraction. Do you see any tourist attractions in this city? Do you see anything that could possibly attract them apart from the Bureau protecting the city? And the Bureau, so-called protectors of our city, more like tyrants, I say. For where is the mayor? There is no mayor, there is no ruler of this city. It is all controlled by the Bureau. It is all propaganda by the Bureau. Everything in this city is controlled by them. But nobody can see it. Simply because the agents that are implanted, that come into the city and say that this is the best city, that, oh, the outside world is so dangerous, and that Heathrow is the best, most protected city in the planet. Do you know what that implies? That the outside world is a savage land, destroyed just like New Helios. Yet still, no new people come in. I say nay. I say that the Bureau is controlling everything. That they are making sure that nobody knows that this city is an anomaly. The citizens you see, they are false. Everybody that you see, apart from the special named characters that you can play as, are anomalies. They are fakes. They are designed to keep the MC in this city because it is a test. It is a test of our character to make sure we are not dangerous. This city, this entire city, is a false city. That is my theory. That is why I decry the Bureau and whatever it stands for. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed my theory. Hope you all make sure you check me out at all of my links. I'll leave it down below. And yes, have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, don't trust the Bureau.